Okay, now that we've got the pistol completely disassembled and you've done whatever you're going to do to it, fix it, clean it, whatever, we're going to put it back together now. Okay, it's a reverse order pretty much. You're going to put the trigger back in first, and when you put this in, make sure that you put it in so that it's sloped. The back portion here, you'll notice, is sloped. Make sure you put it in so that the magazine will go in there properly once it's in there. Because you've put it in upside down, it's obviously not going to work out very well. Okay, so that just slides in the back of the frame, just like that. Then of course we took the magazine release out before that, so that comes in next. And it's a little tough to get this just right, but you're going to hold it in the position that you were holding it when you took it out, so you're pushing on it, but it's got no pressure, so it's not pushing back. So you just got to hold it in the right spot and rotate that, and it'll just snap back into place. Okay, once you've got that in, you're going to put the sear and the disconnector in now. And what you want to do is take the disconnector and hold it like so that you've got the flat tab part right here, and you're going to take the sear like this. You're going to set it on top of the disconnector, so you've got those two pieces together like that. And you're going to take that, holding your pistol up like this, you're going to put it back in, and what you want to do is you want to have the top of the disconnector come out this hole in the frame right there. The top of the disconnector should go through this hole right here. And the bottom of the disconnector, the little flat part, is going to rest against the back of the trigger. So, stick those in there. And it's kind of hard to get them to line up, so you'll want to eye that a little bit. Push it with your finger to hold it in place. And then slide in your pin, remember, from the left side, because it only goes one way. And they should stay in there if you've done it right. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to put in is your leaf spring. And when you put this leaf spring in, just make sure that the ends of the leaf spring are on top of the sear and the disconnector. They can fit under there, but you don't want them under there, you want them on top when you're holding it like this. And just make sure, and just get this groove right here on the back of the leaf spring, and it fits into a groove in the back of the pistol grip. So, just drop it in there like that, make sure it's on top of the disconnector. Alright. Now you're going to slide the mainspring housing back on, but you're not going to slide it on all the way because you haven't put everything else in yet. This is just to hold the leaf spring in place so it's not such a pain to put the rest of this stuff on. Okay, so it's halfway on there. Next you're going to put the hammer in. And remember, the hammer goes in the uppermost of these three holes in the frame, and its pin also slides in from the left, you'll remember. Pin here. There we go. And just like it was cocked when you put the grip safety, or when you pulled the grip safety and the safety switch out before, you'll want the hammer to be cocked when you put them back in. And first you're going to put the plunger back in to the little housing on the side, and it should be pretty obvious if you put this in backwards, but it has to go in the correct way. It doesn't go both ways, so make sure you put it in right. Okay, now put the grip safety in place, line it up with the hole, take your safety switch, push it through the hole, and you'll notice how the odd-shaped hole that the safety switch goes into, it's like bigger on one side and smaller on the other. Obviously, the bigger side is where you're trying to get the tab on the safety switch to go through. So stick that back in, stick it through that hole. Now the plunger might get in the way, so you might want to have something to push the plunger out of the way as you do this. Try to wiggle that safety a little bit to get this. It's not really easy, but you can get it. Okay, I've got that back in, and take the safety off, and well, actually, we're going to want to decock it first, because that mainspring housing is going to be really difficult to get on if we don't. Okay, we decock it, and then we're going to push the mainspring housing on. And the bottom of the hammer might be a little bit difficult to get to line up with the mainspring housing. Oh, that's not good. Might be difficult to get to line up with the mainspring housing, so you might need to work at this a little bit. But you'll eventually get it in there. It's just kind of a pain. There we go. Okay, so push the mainspring housing back up all the way, and then you'll want to put your mainspring housing retaining pin back in, and you'll remember that I said that this is difficult to get in, and it is kind of difficult to get in. So you want to have your punch, and I can't get that in like that, so I'm going to use a hammer. Just some light taps. There we go. I've got that back in. And those are all the mechanical parts, so you just put the grips back on and screw them in, and you're done reassembling the frame.